everyone, Adam here, So Wizard Podcast. I have another review for you today. I had the chance to check out early screenings of Amazon series original, Undone. This is season 2 of Undone. You may have seen season 1, you might be familiar. It actually came out a few years ago in 2019. I don't know if it was a COVID-related thing or what the slowdown was, but given how the show is made, it looks like it's understandable to me that a new season's not going to come out every 9 or 10 months or even every year. But kind of jumping the gun a little bit on the style. Huge thanks to Amazon Studios, Amazon Prime, for sending us these screeners, for giving us the access and allowing us to share our opinions with you, the watcher, the listener, the audience. It's a very cool opportunity to work with such a large company. And as always, this will be a spoiler-free review. Undone, the series, follows a woman, Alma, who discovers that she has, I guess, powers. There's no other word for it. This is similar to a superhero origin story where she can somewhat control and manipulate time. I'm being very vague because I did not watch season 1 of Undone, and I don't want to give spoilers for season 2, and we actually have a pretty lengthy list of things that I am explicitly not allowed to mention. Plus, a show like this that deals with the drama and the oddness of time manipulation, time travel, revisiting your own past and confronting these larger things, interpersonal and outerpersonal experiences. You really don't want a spoiler for a show like that anyway. The fun is in the discovery. Back to the synopsis. Undone follows Alma. She kind of unlocks these abilities that she had in her head, these latent abilities that seem to be not a full family trait, but it's also not unheard of by members of her family that this is maybe a thing that there's some understanding of, even if it's not a full depth of understanding. I generally can't get enough of time travel shows and movies, when they're done right, obviously. What I appreciate about Undone was it doesn't go so deep to lose you in the weeds, but there is a very clear understanding. It's clear that the writers and the showrunners behind Undone sat down and mapped out how time travel works in their universe, in their show. It has clear-cut rules. The rules don't change to serve the plot. This is what it is, and it really feels complete, well thought out, and like it was done with the utmost care, which I hugely appreciate as a sci-fi fan. So obviously the time travel, otherworldly aspect of it is kind of the main draw, but what grounds Undone is that it is at its heart a family drama. There's a lot of great stuff between Alma, the lead character, and her father, for example, and she has a very different relationship with her father than she does with her mother, and she also has this close relationship with her sister that is somewhat strained through Alma's new discoveries and trying to keep that a secret as the sister moves on with her own life, and then there's some complications that involve the time aspect of it that kind of brings them further apart, even though it never really puts them at odds. And the honest family drama of it, even though at times it does seem to be big, like this family has a lot going on, but I guess the same could be said for any TV family, because there wouldn't be much to watch if everything was just great across the board. The creators of Undone are Raphael Bob Waksberg and Kate Purdy. I also know that Kate has done a lot of writing for this series herself. I'm sure Raphael has done as well. I just watched a chunk of season 2. As I said before, I have not watched season 1 yet. But it's awesome that the creators also have a hand in the writing and keeping things on track, especially given everything that goes into making this show. It stars Rosa Salazar as Alma the lead, Angelique Gabriel, and Constance Marie, as well as Bob Odenkirk, which always happy to see Bob Odenkirk in something. The guy's been busy. I love it. Keep him coming. As far as Rosa, Angelique, and Constance, these were names that were not familiar to me, but looking through their IMDb's, they have done things. They have a good body of work. And, Rosa at least is doing a great job of carrying such a kind of heavyweight series on her back. And I don't mean heavy as in you're going to be bogged down and confused in pseudoscience or overwhelmed by the family drama aspect of it, but as the lead of the show, she is carrying a sci-fi show and a drama on her shoulders, and she's in virtually every scene. So very good performances there. Now, I've kind of vaguely mentioned a few times I love how the show is made and the time it would take and things like that. Undone is made in a very unique way, and the closest draw I have to it is if you've seen that movie Scanner Darkly that came out who knows how long ago, probably almost 20 years at this point, starring Keanu Reeves, where it films live action and then there's rotoscope animation laid over it. So it looks animated but flows and feels fluid. And Undone takes it a step further where the characters and the things they interact with are rotoscope animation, but the backgrounds and the settings are actual real oil paintings. I read somewhere online that season 1 had somewhere close to 200 oil paintings just for backgrounds. Then you have all the action on top of it, the characters, the effects, the lighting, fog, smoke, motion effects, all this stuff done in rotoscope animation. So the animation gives you this bizarre, otherworldly, dreamlike look that really serves a story of this nature while still retaining the actors' movements, performances, and the subtleties. I love the look of the show. I love the look of Scanner Darkly. I know there's other projects out there like it, but Undone is really bringing it to another level. I looked up some scenes on YouTube of Scanner Darkly before recording this after having watched the show, and while the look of it really does hold up, Undone is a much more polished, interesting version of that technology, and I'm sure it's time intensive, but I just don't know why a few other things haven't used it. I mean, it's engaging in a way that other animation isn't. Not to say that other animation can't be, but it just has this own unique feel, and I love what they're doing with it, and I'm glad they are. There's a lot in this series that could be done with special effects, practical effects even, yes, and the animation might make those aspects of it easier, even though there's not really anything easy about animation. It's incredibly time-consuming and expensive to produce, and rotoscoping, you're filming live action and doing animation, so it probably nearly doubles the budget, but the results speak for themselves, and even though it's only 2 seasons spread out over a few years, it's there, and it looks fantastic. If this sounds like something that's up your alley, and you're like me and you haven't seen Season 1, I would recommend going back and watching Season 1 first. I mean, why not? It's all there on Amazon Prime anyway. You're probably not going to get it done unless you really go on a crazy binge, because Season 2 debuts April 29th in just a few days as of this recording, but it's not going anywhere. It'll be there, so I would do it in the proper order. I jumped right into Season 2. I generally like to do these things in order, but we have so many screeners and reviews and interviews and all this stuff to do, it's hard for me to watch everything despite my desire to. I will be going back to watch Season 1, then I will be catching back up with Season 2. I didn't quite finish the season because I didn't want to accidentally give any major spoilers, so I plan on going back to the beginning, watching it in order. That being said, again, to make a parallel between comics, a superhero kind of thing, and this, Undone is done in a way, no pun intended there, where you can jump into the new season, and you can figure it out. There's a very good brief recap of where you are, and it appears that Season 2 picks up immediately where Season 1 left off. So those of you who have watched Season 1 and you're anticipating Season 2, you are going to get answers to a lot of the questions you had. You are going to get a lot of payoff on the cliffhangers, and you are going to get a lot of payoff on the family relationships. I felt some payoff being there, even though it was basically implied for me, having not seen Season 1, so I can only imagine if you were someone who watched this in 2019 or 2020 and have waited a year, 2, even 3, to get answers, they are coming, which is awesome. I will not go into what those answers are. Amazon will be knocking at my door in a minute if I do, but it's there, and it's worth it, and it's very cool. And just when I was getting comfortable as, okay, this is as all the pieces lie on the board now, the board maybe started to shake a little bit. It might not exactly be as cut and dry as it seems, which launches the story of Season 2, launches the deeper desires of Alma, and keeps her family involved, which, again, huge props to the writing, because it was a really nice way of giving the Season 1 payoff and ending, but still having something interesting to do in Season 2. There's also a cool thing to do, and I have to be very careful talking about this because it probably does verge on spoiler territory, but I will not give anything away, I promise. Alma, given what happened to her in the first season that I put together and saw in the recap and some reading and stuff, and then what's going on in the second season, has this feeling I imagine a lot of us would have if we did something so much larger than life that either no one or very few people have done before, and you kind of have the feeling that, like, oh, it's over. I got to go back to, working a 9 to 5 and making sure I get to bed on time so I'm not tired. Like these simple mundane things that all of our lives encompass of someone who's done things like this, which none of us have done. I love how they tackled the character relationship with the world in that way. That's kind of all I can say, but as you watch the show, I'm sure you'll see what I'm getting at. Mixing the sci-fi and the family drama does keep the show grounded, does give the character some development and some places to go. I was more in it for the sci-fi side of things. There was a few of the family drama things, a relationship between Alma and her mother, for example, that it just wasn't for me. Maybe it'll be your favorite part of the show. It's not poorly done by any means. It's just not what I was looking for, what I was in it for. And that was kind of when my mind would start to wander and wonder what was going on with this other aspect or how long was left in the episode, something like that. So it's not a perfect show, but that's a tall order to say this thing wasn't perfect, therefore. It's great overall, and I think the animation alone is worth you giving it a shot, and the care and thought that was put into the larger than life, the otherworldly aspects of it. Give it a few episodes, give it a try. It's all there. They're 20, 25-minute episodes, so it's not even a huge investment. Give it an hour. You get 3 episodes in and see if it's for you. If you're into hard sci-fi, I think this would be something up your alley, even if you're not 100% on board for more of the drama side of it. It can't be all sci-fi and no family drama side of it, because then there wouldn't really be a story. So overall, this is a recommend from me. Pretty excited for season 2. Make sure you like and subscribe. We have a lot more reviews, a lot more interviews, a lot more new movie coverage, unboxings, comic reviews, screeners to do, more Amazon coverage to do. Really cool things in the works you're not going to want to miss out. Speaking of not wanting to miss out, make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All the accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. And on a more personal note, a good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series. We're just finishing up Chapter 2 with a few more issues still to come. They're pretty much waiting at the printer, and there's been a huge delay on things, but there are 9 issues available now. You can find those in socialstudiescomic.com or on Comixology Unlimited as well, which is very exciting for us. We're working on getting into physical stores, and we've been reaching out to some more podcasts to try to get more interviews and more of us out in the world. So any support you can offer, hugely appreciated. Socialstudiescomic.com. Thanks.